It's fun.
Yeah.
Cynthia, te confío. Pero. Oh, we're all right. We're good. My bad,
Yeah.
guys. We have some technical difficulties on my end. Jonathan, good to see you. How are you doing, man?
I'm doing great. I'm super excited about this. I enjoyed our little pre-interview, and now I'm excited to get into the meat and heart of the conversation. Definitely.
Yeah, the future of AI in retail. I
Yeah.
love that. We have a little bit of an overlap. We're not interrupting each other. It might sound like we're fighting while we're on the show, but we'll hopefully have this delay fixed in no time. Dude, tell me about the future of AI in retail real quick.
Oh, I look, I mean, I think that AI is going to affect every single aspect of human existence. I think that this is as big as, the wheel. This is going to revolutionize everything that we do, from medicine to therapy to accounting to legal issues. All of this, writing, content creation, all of it. But what I'm particularly focused on is finding the uses of AI in retail. And that's what Trigonal is currently really focused on. It's a really exciting time.
All
I
right,
love it.
welcome
I
in
think
to
we're
Vision
good.
Pros Live with Jackson Callum. I'm your show host. We will be doing interviews for visionary entrepreneurs and guest leaders who are building fantastic visions out there. Hey, what's up? And welcome into Vision Pros Live. I'm your host, Jackson Callum, founder and CEO of First Class Business. And I'm excited to have Jonathan Goodman on the show today. We're going to be talking about the future of AI and retail with Jonathan. There's really cool things that are going on. You probably are familiar with things like ChatGPT, if you've heard of it. But there's also really cool ways to generate images. And what's fun about this is we're going to be talking about throw pillows. We're going to be talking about merchandise, things that you can put your own custom art on, but you can also get custom artwork assistance with AI. So that's one of the angles we're going to be talking about just a little bit. Since the holidays are coming up, this is kind of perfect time to have Jonathan on board as an artist and contributor to hopefully helping us with our interior decor and beyond. So we'll be talking about all that in just a minute. Sponsors, Cold Click. Cold Click is a system that we use for our LinkedIn automation. I highly recommend checking out. I'm going to keep it short and sweet today. But ultimately, when it comes to getting out there as a visionary and as an entrepreneur, you want to get out there in front of as many people as you can, but you also want to do so in a way that protects your systems and with messaging that's on point that helps people warm up to who you are. Cold Click helps protect our accounts as we automate our outreach. Tap Mental is another. Oh, my fingers no longer pointing to it. We got the screen share going on. So tapmental.io is another provider that works with us. They are a client of ours, Dave Goodell. Dave Goodall helps people with, helps business owners with their psychology and mindset in order to make sure that they set up the right systems in the first place for their brand. He's got some amazing case studies with what he does. We all face challenges, limiting beliefs, things that might hold us back from our past. Dave does a great job of tapping into that and helping you overcome it in order to streamline your services. He mostly works with people in the blue collar space. So think construction workers. Obviously, you know who you are if you heard that title to begin with. But if you know somebody who could use help building out their general contracting firm or helping build their business at scale, if you know a stressed and overworked entrepreneur who's in the probably $1 to $10 million range annually at least, then I highly recommend telling them to go check out what Dave's up to at Tap Mental, watch some of these videos and see if he makes sense to work with. I also want to highlight the Water Project. The Water Project is the place that we like to send our, I don't want to say our donations to, but it's one of those services that I'm just so lucky to have great drinking water every day. I don't have to think about where I get this, yet there's people all over the world who don't have access to clean drinking water. And it just kind of hurts my heart. And I want to remember this on a daily basis, kind of honor and think, well, who can we help today? And the Water Project does a great job of showcasing different villages that need help, and you can choose which one you want to help, and then you also get to see the outcome as they receive that help. So if you know of another charity that you'd like to support, or where there's a lot of people suffering in the world right now, if you got a link to something that's a cause, don't hesitate to drop it in the comments. I'm happy to consider contributing to it myself. I'm also happy to consider talking about it here on the show. So we got Jonathan coming on board again. As mentioned, he is an artist. He's a specialist when it comes to AI as well. And I'm actually going to skip the formal introduction a little bit and bring Jonathan right on board, since we are a little bit behind on the schedule. And Jonathan, thank you so much for being here today. We appreciate having you on Vision Pros Live.
Absolutely, Jackson. It's a pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely, dude. So there's certain aspects of your profession and your background that I really want to highlight and make sure I don't miss. But I'm going to put the mic in your hands this time. What are some of those accolades? Without, I know I'm making you brag a little bit, but go ahead and tell us about what you do, Jonathan.
Yeah, so I started in the .com, so I'm a futurist, and I am always on the cutting edge of technology, and that has led the path down to the AI experience. And it has been really fascinating over just the past couple of months, the way that AI has integrated itself into work and life. It's really quite amazing.
Yeah,
I'm not great
absolutely,
at
man. And
talking
now
about
I'm gonna
myself, so
That's all good. No, I appreciate you diving into the subject at hand, and I can tell you have a long-standing vision as a futurist about like where the direction of all this is headed. We do have a video clip to show regarding some of the throw pillows and designs that you and your team have worked on. Before I show that clip, though, do you want to give some context?
yeah, so Trigonal was originally a modern art gallery, and unfortunately, during COVID, we shut down. And being the future technologist that I am, I kind of got back on the bandwagon, and I, got into crypto at the time and got into NFTs, and that NFTs then led to AI. And so, I have a background in art, graphic design, and photography from a great school here in the United States. And the AI capabilities just really excited me. And I said, okay, well, what can I do with this, right? I'm going to print this out and put this in a gallery. Like, nobody's going to be interested in that. Why don't I kind of make art that people want to have in their houses? Or, as we progress in our conversations, I'll explain that we have throw pillows now, but the big plan is t-shirts and skirts and jackets and all of these different things to have AI artwork in. And so I have an assistant, and the two of us worked all summer creating 500 different images in different categories: space and romance and Christmas and Halloween and all this stuff. And the first product that we're putting it on is throw pillows. And we're talking to entrepreneurs, so I can be very honest with you, right?
Yeah.
Sustainability is incredibly important. It should be important for everybody, but it seems to be really critically important when we're talking to the younger generation. They
Mm.
understand that when you're walking into a store that sells jeans and t-shirts, that for every t-shirt that's on that rack, there are 10 that are heading to a garbage dump somewhere. And they hate that. And so sustainability, I partnered with a company that does print on demand. It's great as an entrepreneur because, look, I've been an entrepreneur my entire life. I've been doing different projects and things like that. And I ran a clubbing nightclub, event thing. And we would have to pay somebody to do t-shirts. And that would cost thousands of dollars. The design, the printing, the holding of the screens, for the printing of the screens, the ordering of the t-shirts, all of that costs so much money. And now print on demand really allows me as an entrepreneur and AI to create the image, put the image on a pillow. If the image isn't of interest to anybody ever, it doesn't cost me anything. I haven't lost any money. And so
Mhm.
I've kind of, all of my experience, the AI, the technology, the art, the design, getting the print done and all of that, all my past experiences rolled into Trigonal now, and it's so exhilarating and exciting to work on.
Hey, absolutely. And you brought something up that's interesting about the current generation and sustainability being important. That seed was planted. I'm going to age myself a little bit here, but I remember watching The Reading Rainbow in kindergarten or first grade, and on that show, they shared the story about a restaurant owner. It was a fictional book, but the restaurant owner loved helping the poor people, and the people who would come to, like, he had this system to where whatever was left over at the end of the night they would give to people. And then he kind of went corporate with his restaurant, and they had restrictions and rules around who he could give stuff to and couldn't. And he was now away from his family too much, and yada yada. And then he ended up going back to the type of restaurant that he had originally, and his family was happy. And um, we've lived with generations of learning a little bit more broadly about different perspectives, right, and different ways of seeing the world that I guess we didn't have access to in decades past before that.
Oh yeah.
So what's neat about it, though, you mentioned a good point. While there's all those shirts that go to the garbage, that I think a lot of us don't think about, how much waste is that in terms of your ability to be profitable too, right?
Right.
There's a balance to be had on both sides of that equation. Now, I do want to show these pillows real quick. So
Sure.
if you're looking for throw
Awesome.
pillows for Christmas, you might check out Trigonal. Let's look at some of these designs real fast, and we'll come right back.
Great.
All right. Sometimes Cynthia and I fight over the controls a little bit, so we got a double dose of the holidays. If you weren't in the spirit before, and now we brainwashed you to be.
There you go.
Those designs. Do you mind walking me through the process? How do you go about creating designs like that, or what's the difference between these and other throw pillows we see out there?
Yeah, so we started off with ChatGPT. So we asked ChatGPT, what are give us the most interesting things that people buy. What are people interested in, right? And it would say, Christmas and Halloween are the top two big holidays that people buy stuff for. And we started there, and then we would say to ChatGPT, okay, well, what are some of the common themes of Christmas? And it came back and it said Santa and Rudolph and Christmas Village and all these different things. And then we went back to it and it said, okay, with Santa, what are some common themes with Santa that would be great for a pillow? And it came back with, well, you could go with the old style of Saint Nicholas holding the candles, or you could go with the more modern, laughing, jolly, Saint Nick. And so that's really where we did. And then we took those, we poured those into Midjourney, and we reviewed hundreds, for just finding the right one. And so out of the images that we stuck with, you have to realize that there are probably, 2,000 other images that we declined on. So
Yeah.
it was a great process.
I like that. So I'll ask an interesting question. Some people might see right through the trick of the riddle of this, but your first question that you asked the AI was, um, what are people buying? Remind me that question again. It really caught my brain.
What are the categories that people are interested in decorating?
Okay, great. And so my question for you is, who does that serve the most? That question, the business or the consumer?
Oh, I mean, it certainly helps us initially, right? But we are targeting the consumer overall. So at the end of the day, the
Well, it helps
consumer,
both, right?
absolutely, 100%. Yes.
I mean, that's my riddle on it, and yes, it is, and good for you for acknowledging the fact that you win in this equation, but that's the point. we want both to win. If the business doesn't win, the consumer doesn't win because the consumer no longer has the business. But
Right.
when you're asking such a great question to an expert like ChatGPT, now you're extracting exactly what the consumer wants with an AI that understands scale, that
Right.
understands what's happening in the world.
And understand, we also
Crazy.
went through here at Trigonal, we went through training on ChatGPT. So we're not using the basic level of ChatGPT. We have
Mm.
a lot of people don't even realize this, but there's something called custom instructions. So you can go, if you have a ChatGPT Pro, you can go right by your name down at the bottom on the left will be 3 little dots, and you can open that up and you can see custom instructions. And what that allows you to do is put in personalities, characters,
Mhm.
right? So we say, okay, for this project, we're going to put in a visual artist, and we tell ChatGPT exactly who we are as that visual artist, what we're interested in. We're interested in throw pillows. We're interested in creating products for a consumer. And then with that, we then ask the question, right? So instead of the overall, general ChatGPT 4 Pro, you're asking a question to, and somebody asked me this, how do I look at this analogously? And think of it as the Library of Congress. ChatGPT is the Library of Congress. But with custom instructions, I'm able to walk down one specific aisle of that whole Library of Congress. And so I'm
Yeah.
asking ChatGPT very, very specific questions within a confine of information that it holds. Because you're talking about trillions of data points that ChatGPT is working on, right? And if you can narrow that down and get more specific data, then it's not like you're just having a general conversation with an AI. You're having a specific conversation with a very specific AI.
Dude, you brought up a super interesting point. I love the analogy, of the Library of Congress, and then you've also got kind of like Iron Man's assistant right there with you, but they're not, and they're not pushy, right? It's not like somebody's selling you on something. You then can turn to it and say, okay, we found the aisle, but here's what I'm looking for specifically, right?
Right.
And you then don't have to go through thousands of books in that aisle. It
Right.
pulls out the 10, and if you mess that up, just ask a new question to get the next. It is a brilliant concept. It's something that needs to be used more. So with that said, Jonathan, I'm going to ask you what we typically lead with, which is based on where our conversation is headed about the future of AI in retail. Who should be listening right now, do you think? Why should they listen to you specifically, and what do you think they're going to get out of the rest of today's show?
So I think, who should listen are entrepreneurs, right? Or people that are thinking about being an entrepreneur. I think why they should listen to me particularly is because, the last couple of years, even though I have 20 years of corporate experience and the last 10 years have been very entrepreneurial, there have been incredible successes, but there have also been tremendous failures,
Mm,
right? And Trigonal was unfortunately started off as a failure, and then I pivoted to a much more successful, avenue of revenue. So I think that I understand the struggle of the entrepreneur, particularly the solo entrepreneur. They are, working day and night to get their project seen, heard, and make money from it. And there are many, many pitfalls. There there are pitfalls that you can't even account for, right? For
yeah.
instance, how could I have accounted for COVID? How could I have
Right.
accounted for my doors shutting of my gallery? Right.
Right.
And I think that all of that is the entrepreneurial spirit that you have to kind of persevere through. Could
Yep.
you become depressed from it? Yes, you could definitely become depressed from it. Could you lose a lot of money? Yes, you could lose a lot of money. But
Yeah.
the learning that you get from being an entrepreneur is one day in the life of an entrepreneur is like an entire year in corporate. You are
Mm,
everything. You wear every hat. And it doesn't matter whether you're a solo entrepreneur or whether you have a team of 10, you're still managing every single aspect of your business. And that requires a tremendous amount of heart. It requires a tremendous amount of focus. And a little bit of luck. And that's,
It's true.
that's that one thing that a lot of people don't realize, being an entrepreneur, you're, especially depending upon what your family dynamics are, not everybody should be an entrepreneur. Not everybody
Right.
has the financial, economic capability of going out there and venturing out into areas that they may not have full expertise on. One of the things that I wanted to kind of count, into this conversation is the incredible opportunities through the SBA and other government organizations to get funding, right?
Mm,
A lot of solo entrepreneurs and individual entrepreneurs that are building their business, they don't understand that there's money out there. There's
yeah.
money in loans, there's money in grants, there's money in investment, and you have to the greatest thing that you can have is a business plan, right? And if you have a solid business plan and then you send that around to people, you are able to have a conversation, and even if you're not a great presenter, your business plan can speak for you.
Well said. Very important topics. Jamie Kern Lima comes to mind. If you haven't ever heard her story, you might want to look it up, see if you can find it. But she talks about the hundreds of no's that she received from people over years and the amount of banks that turned her down for loans before she found one that would work. I mean, her diligence and persistence with building her brand that eventually became a billion-dollar brand, I think even multi-billion, like that's not the story. That's not where it started. It took
Right.
years
Yeah.
of hard work to get to that point. And I mention that because the more common stories are a little less, um, I don't know, they're a little less close to home, but they're just as important, even though they did have a little bit of a leg up, like Bill Gates, for instance. Most people don't realize that, yes, I mean, he wouldn't have succeeded without his parents, and he gives 100% credit to that. And he did have a little bit of backing, but his first apartment was not an apartment. He lived in his office. They showered at the YMCA. And they worked 24/7, ate pizza. They ordered pizza every day, and that's like what they did. They were just so dedicated and diligent. I'm not saying that's the way to live. I'm not saying that's the only way to do it, but I think it's very helpful to realize the amount of character that has to be built when you're going to run a business of that magnitude. You have to really be willing to make yourself your best self in many different dynamics that maybe not be required in other types of occupations. So it takes a strange person to want to do this.
Yeah, no, you can understand that it's very difficult for an entrepreneur to be both a great developer, even in the AI realm, and then also be a great marketer and a great salesman,
Right.
right? It's
All those
very hard.
things.
I've done these businesses left, right, and center, and there's one brain that is thinking my finances and what do I need to get done in the day? And then there's the other one, oh, I've got to go to a cocktail reception and try to introduce
Right.
myself and try to be really nice to everybody because maybe somebody will throw some cash at me to be able to work with me on a project, right? So all of those
Dude,
elements,
well
you
said.
really have to be
Oh,
so round well developed. It's a challenge.
Michael Berger, Gerber, rather, sorry, Michael Berger, Michael Gerber, and the E-Myth talks about that too. To again power down on what you're talking about. This is so important, and he kind of gave us the permission to be schizophrenic, to some degree, where he talked about everybody has a skinny guy and a fat guy in them. And that person's constantly pulling on your brain. Do you eat the cookie or do you go exercise? You got those two people on your shoulders, and the entrepreneurs have the futurist, the visionary, the entrepreneur, the manager that lives in the past, and the technician that wants to do everything in the here and now. And you have to learn to channel those if you're going to, like build something important. And then you have to create procedures so that other people can do those things and you're not divided so constantly. But let's talk about your vision real quick for those that you serve, Jonathan. What would you say it is? And I know there's multiple facets, so feel free to go the route of those who are looking to use AI in retail or those who are looking to buy products. In fact, you know what? Let's start with the AI in retail. And the next question I ask you will guide you towards those who are potentially going to buy throw pillows and beyond from Trigonal and yourself. So
Yeah.
for those of you who serve in the AI retail space, what does that vision look like?
It's funny because, when you ask that question, I immediately kind of go to my other job, which is a fractional CMO, right? Because what is the vision for those you serve? That can be, helping other entrepreneurs to really get focused and find their way through, whether it's the loans or the investment or anything, or just pivoting, right? But yes, we can go to the AI side, which is, first of all, this is about me. This is about what I want to do. I wake up every morning and I'm fascinated by AI art, right? I want to see what can be done. And what's been amazing over the past several months, and I say the past several months, even though AI has been with us for a while, but the radical changes of how art is made, right? Just within this past month, we've had DALL-E 3, which is a Microsoft product integrated into ChatGPT, which has never been done before. So now I can literally talk to ChatGPT and say, I want to create a throw pillow image for Christmas. Give me some ideas. And not only does it give me the ideas, it then says, would you like to move forward and use DALL-E 3, right? So incredibly revolutionary. I personally don't use DALL-E 3 on an everyday basis. I'm still using Midjourney because I enjoy kind of the push and pull and writing the prompts that are required to get Midjourney to work well. But still, getting back to your original question of, who do I serve? How do I serve them well? It's understanding what the consumer wants at the end of the day, right? That's got to be my core. And maybe it wasn't throw pillows. We'll see, like how the year winds up. I think that throw pillows are fun and unique, and you want to decorate your entire Christmas. But we also know that T-shirts do much, much better than throw pillows. People love T-shirts with words on them. They like basic kind of designs that just express who they are. And so we are kind of looking at that and pivoting. But of course, in those last couple of months, the technology within AI to be able to produce, flat generated prints. I'm losing the word. The illustration to be able to print on a flat surface has radically changed, right? So what you look at now for the throw pillows is everything has a background and everything, as opposed to what would look like a sticker on a T-shirt. It has
That's
the
screen
white.
printing.
Yeah, it's screen printing, right? Exactly. That's
Good.
it.
I just learned that word this weekend, so perfect
Yeah.
timing.
Yes.
Awesome, man. And okay, good. So the Dolly, we might come back to that, because one of the things that came to mind, Jonathan, and this is, you're serving all of us in this regard. If I tell somebody, like if I find somebody who says, "Hey, I love sports, Jackson. Where can I watch sports?" Right? And they don't know. I say, "Hey, have you ever seen ESPN before?" And they're like, "No, I've never heard of it." Like I just gave them a massive, massive opportunity to go tune in and learn about all sorts of different sports things that they didn't have access to previously. Dolly's one of those. Like if you're unaware of it, then like you have no idea what's accessible there. What are some of the other AI art resources, hubs, communities that you gravitate towards, and you're like, man, I'm glad I have this archive to expand my vision with?
Yeah. So I'll tell you, AI Advantage is a phenomenal group of people. I've taken the prompt engineering course with them. That's what kind of kicked all this off. There's a Discord for AI Advantage. They're on LinkedIn. Igor Pagoni is the head of that. I am one of the mods in the Discord when I have a minute to be a mod, which is, just kind of guys hanging out and making sure that people are being okay in the Discord chats. That's a lot of fun. And, being in that environment and being in that community, we also have a Sunday contest every Sunday at I think it's 1 or 2 p.m. every Sunday. I'm a judge in that. So we do for an hour and a half. all of the people that want to kind of test out their AI skills. We have about 4 contests for them. It's a 10-minute contest. You have 2 minutes to upload your artwork, and then it gets judged. So it happens 4 times during that event on Sundays. All of that kind of stuff really, yeah, there you go. There's the AI advantage. And they have, if you go over to the AI course, they've got a great course. They've got a shop where they have the book of the characters, the 600 different characters of custom instructions. And that has really been, and you know what's so amazing about this is that I bet less than 1% of your audience probably is doing AI and is involved with ChatGPT and Midjourney and Dolly
I
3.
agree with that.
But let me tell you, it's coming. It's coming for everybody. And the more that you know how to work with it, and getting in now and understanding what the root comprehension of the AI functionality is, as opposed to then coming in and saying, oh, okay, I need my accounting done. I'm going to hire an AI bot, and not really understanding how that AI bot works. This is really the time to get in. And it applies to everything. I write articles now for LinkedIn, right? And those go into my page on LinkedIn. And I work with, so I should say that on top of the custom instructions, and I know I'm getting technical, I have something called Professor Synapse. And Professor Synapse kind of manages the entire conversation. But step by step, if I say to them, I want to write an article about, this year's Comic-Con, it will ask me questions. It will pull information out of me that is vital to the article and then help me write the article, right? You said before you have ADHD. I'm dyslexic. So for me to write an article, to sit down and actually write 500 words, it would take an entire day. But within 2 hours, I can have this conversation with somebody. I don't know if you've watched Our Flag Means Death. Have you seen that show? I'm sure some of your audience
No,
has, right? But there's a character, Steed,
I
and
bet.
this Professor Synapse writes and talks like Steed, very upper crust, kind of British, humorist. And so I'm having this conversation, and he's asking me these questions. And from that conversation, he's able to build that article. And it's remarkable
Mhm.
that, yes, it's not me writing word for word, but it got every single point across. And it not only that, it took out some of the negativity. It makes it very positive, because at the end, who wants to read a LinkedIn article where I'm crying about something that failed, right? But if I wrote an article about something that failed and how I pivoted that, and then explain, the psychology behind that, and that's all
Mm.
ChatGPT, that's all AI, amazing, stuff.
It's big. I was looking at headlines just 2 days ago for somebody we hosted named Jeff Schwartz. He's in the geofencing space. I've never used geofencing, and
Well,
I've
I've never
looked
heard
at
of
it.
that.
Oh, the ability to target a specific building, for instance. So you might target a mall for your ads.
Oh,
Or on the Riverwalk, if you run the Riverwalk in San Antonio, there's a lot of geofencing purposes that could make sense for helping people see your ad at a nearby venue.
okay.
It's a really neat technology, but I don't know how to speak to it from a marketing standpoint and from a attraction standpoint. So I use ChatGPT to help me with that. And I said, okay, I need 10 headlines for a podcast about geofencing. Right. And then we said, okay, give me 10 headlines for a podcast about geofencing that is designed for business owners who make $5 million plus annually. Right. So redesign it. And I said, now add more intrigue to the headlines.
Right,
And I said make it more irresistible and captivating. And
right.
ChatGPT responded, "Oh, you'd like me to make this more intriguing? Great." So it's like,
Yeah.
wow, that's fun.
Yeah, the
Um,
article that it was writing for me was very verbose. The dark night of the storm and the wind, and I was like, calm down on the verbosity. And it came back
yeah,
and rewrote it the right way. But it was
I took all those. It took me maybe maybe 7 minutes total to get 40 headline options. I copied the whole thing and sent it to Jeff. And I said, hey, if your team could choose 10 or pass 10 back, by the way, thank you, ChatGPT,
Yeah.
and then let them know transparently that that's how we came up with those. And so it's going to save me all that time while getting their creative wheels spinning. And now they can inject what they need to make those headlines really catchy to help people understand the value of the episode at hand.
And did you use Bing when you were using ChatGPT for that?
I don't think so. Teach me.
Because now Bing is integrated with ChatGPT. So I have an article coming up about, Amazon kind of squeezing the small entrepreneur, right? Because they get you into the FBA and then they, jack up the prices and all this different stuff. And ChatGPT wasn't really understanding it. And I said, you know what? Go out and do your own research. And it went out using Bing and it did this whole entire thing. It took about 20 minutes for it to gather information. And it said, oh, wow, I found all of this information about, the reduction of small entrepreneurs in Amazon and it was amazing. It was like having a conversation with you where, you were then sitting there and typing out and finding all this information and it informed you correctly. And now you could write the article appropriately.
Oh my goodness. Okay. Can you do me a favor, Jonathan?
Yeah.
That went halfway over. I caught the concept enough.
Right.
Can you do us a huge favor and after the show, create a Loom video of what you just talked about to showcase how that works?
Sure.
I hate to put you on the spot.
I don't know what a Loom video is, but I will ask ChatGPT.
Loom video has like your video in the corner. You can do this on Zoom too, but Loom uploads it automatically online. So that it's like those training videos where you're in the bottom corner and you're walking people through your screen of how to do X, Y, or Z. Makes it really easy for people to, we'll talk about it after. But yeah, man, that would be so cool to see that in action because then it would make it far easier to follow monkey see, monkey do style.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah. That's half the thing with AI is I don't think a lot of people understand how to even interact with it.
And then we end up condescending when we're talking about how we do all this. And in fact, I'm going to show real quick, since you got me on the subject and you're already leading the way down the path. I've got ChatGPT open. I finally added it as a tab, as a pinned tab and committed to it. Let's see here. That's my official report. Come on now. That's why you gotta be careful going live. Where did my ChatGPT one go? Share screen. Let's go to ChatGPT. Maybe it won't let me. That would be a possibility.
No.
Let's see here. ChatGPT. Let's try again. Oh yeah, it let me. There we go. You guys see my ChatGPT here?
Yes. Now, why don't you start a new chat?
You see that? Okay.
Yep. Start a new chat.
Let's do it. Let's hit it.
And so first of all, do you see where your name is and you see the three dots?
Yep.
There you go. Click those three dots.
I'm cheap, man. I got the non-paid for version. I haven't committed.
You have custom instructions. Open up custom instructions. Okay. There you go. Just a little information. Okay. And so there are two parts to the custom instructions. So, and this is what Igor has produced in the 600, characters. So you would go in and you would say, I'm an entrepreneur and I'm writing an article about SEO. And you would then find the SEO content writer and it would provide you all that information. But right here, you could do it yourself. Where are you based? All those questions, and you would fill that out. And then the bottom half also. You can follow Igor and kind of get a better understanding. But now let's go back.
I gotta ask them. I got some begging, burning questions inside me, right? So I don't think I'm that unique in this regard, but I am more difficult and more pronounced than most people. And I hate being boxed in. Right. I like to study it. I'm like, I'm not just an entrepreneur. I'm this and this too. So there's like this inner side of me that argues and says, don't put anything in this box. But I want the argument, Jonathan, let's debate this out. So I'm saying, okay, wait a second. I want to make sure I don't actually I don't want to I listen to Pandora. I hate Spotify. I don't want Spotify. I don't want a curated list that I'm going to run into the same song. I want to be surprised with new music. That's just how I do things. Right. But so talk to me about that.
Have you ever
So
seen 2001: A Space Odyssey?
yeah, long time ago.
You know the scene where the astronaut has to disassemble HAL?
I don't remember it, but go teach me.
But there are these cubes, and each one has to release, and he has to take each one out. That's what a custom instruction is, right?
Okay.
Think about it that way. You can put in right now a custom instruction for a visual artist and do your work, and then take that out, and you can
And it's
put in,
gone.
and it's gone, but you've done your work. You're
Right,
in
but
the
I mean,
chat,
once
and
you've taken it out, it's not gonna re-influence is what I'm looking for.
right, correct. And then
Ah,
you put in, let's say
good
you put
analogy
in
again.
accountant, right? And so now you can ask it specific accounting questions. And this is
Mm.
all within the same chat. So
All
then
right,
you
I'll play nice then. Okay, I'll touch it
yeah,
then. Because I was worried. Because then what happens in Pandora is if you freaking like a song on there, then it just starts serving you songs that sound just like it. And I'm like, no, I don't touch
no,
the like thing. I don't touch anything. I don't want my system broken.
right.
But okay, okay. So I can put in here.
Well, I
Where are
wouldn't
you
do it
based?
now. I
Oh
wouldn't
no.
do it now. I would learn how to do the customs instructions correctly, but I wanted to show you at least where it was, right?
Oh,
So then
gotcha.
let's
So
go
when
back
you
out.
learn it, you're talking about going into Igor's program to learn it?
Yeah. Or you could just buy the customs instructions itself. But are we going to go into Bing? Are we going to do ChatGPT and Bing?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Sorry,
let's do
I'm
that.
getting like shiny ball syndrome all over the place with this stuff, my friend. All right, ChatGPT, we're going back. We're doing the Bing
Yeah.
thing. All right, so I'm in settings. We're at
No. You can get out of settings. I just wanted to show you that. Okay. So now
okay.
go to ChatGPT 4. You may not have Pro, so let's. Okay, you do
I
not have
don't.
Pro. Okay, so you don't have Plus. Okay.
So
If
you
you
got to
have
have that
Plus,
to get the Bing set up.
yes, the Bing, the plugins. There's a lot of stuff that comes with that $20 a month. It is the best
I
bang for
believe
your
it.
buck. Absolutely. I
If you
wonder if
use
there's
it,
a way.
and I gotta use it. I know
Yeah.
I'm getting real close. If I weren't live right now, I'd be like, all right, let's just pump this out and get it done.
Is there a
That
way
way
for
we
me
can.
to present? I could show you.
Yeah, you can show.
So
We
let's
got a few
see.
minutes for sure.
Let's see. So let's
That'd be
see.
awesome.
If I say share screen and then I go here, hold on. Let me set this up to the right page. Let's see, crafting product descriptions. Yes, perfect. Okay. Where did you go? Here you are.
All
Okay.
right.
So we go here, share screen. We go there. And I'm going to show you exactly where.
There we are.
Yeah. Let's see. Oh, so this is right. So
Oh, I like that pillow.
let's go back to thought leaders. Okay, so this is my thought leader conversation. You can see at the top here, I'm web browsing. Right here, you see that.
Okay. What's that mean?
And so that means that it's connected to Bing, right?
Okay, got it.
And so now I'm going to try to
So
find.
for those who are newer, the difference is, from what I understand, ChatGPT without the web browsing is limited to an archived database, kind of from the past, versus
It
when you're
stopped
doing
in
the
2000. It stopped in 2001. Correct.
right. So you're missing all the data from 2001 to 2023, versus when it's plugged into Bing, you're then getting all current information. I would imagine. Is that correct?
Yes, absolutely. Immediately up to date. Absolutely.
Wow, that's a
Yeah.
huge difference.
So here I am talking to ChatGPT, and then it didn't really understand what the dynamic of Amazon and I were. And then, it says, shall I proceed in getting this all together and finding the data? And then it lays out the article, right? So this is an article about one of my other companies. We worked with Amazon. We were doing
One quick question, Jonathan. So what did you tell it? What did you prompt it to get that to go gather that information? What was your prompt for that?
I said, do your own research.
Like just like that you said was you just put
Yeah.
do your own research and it did it?
I'm
Huh.
explaining to it. I'm explaining to it that here's the scenario, right? So I had a company that was selling parts and accessories for a specific product line. And the manufacturer did a direct deal with Amazon. And I was explaining to ChatGPT that this happens a lot. And it wasn't
Mhm.
really understanding it. And so I said, okay, you're clearly not understanding that this happens a lot. This didn't just happen to me, this happens a lot. Go out there and find articles about other entrepreneurs who have struggled with the manufacturer direct to Amazon relationship. And that's what it did. It went out, it found those articles, it compiled everything. It said, okay, I see that, between 2016 and 2020, there's been a 30% dip in, small entrepreneurial businesses working with Amazon. Really, really incredible, up-to-date stuff. Really amazing.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah. But you got to pay
Whoa.
that $20 plus for ChatGPT. It really
Right.
works well.
I got
Yeah.
to start using it more. I very, very rarely turn to it. It's kind of like when you're getting used to, I guess, I don't know, using any new technology. Like you only start like dipping your toe in the water sometimes. I need to just dive right in.
Yeah, no,
You got me on it now.
yeah,
So
it takes a couple of months, and then what you find is you actually can't live without it.
you
I
got
wrote
superhuman powers with it. Yeah.
Yeah, I wrote an email this morning that I had to kind of like, how am I going to write this? And I was going to go to ChatGPT, but I said, it's just a 2 sentence email. I don't really need to, but I needed to talk to somebody and tell them this is what the email that I'm sending. What do you think? Instead of using ChatGPT. So it's a little bit of a crutch, but I think it's a good crutch.
It's a great crutch. It's an important one. We have a little bit of an ego. It's not a little bit of a crutch. We as human beings have a little bit of an ego. We put the
Definitely.
ego aside. We likely get better results. So that was awesome, man. That was it was very practical and useful for anybody who's listening. We are almost out of time. I'll give you one more opportunity though. One, let us know what's the best way to connect with you and in what context do you recommend we connect with you? Two, feel free to drop one more powerful lesson. You've been on a roll. So
Yeah, so I think follow me on LinkedIn. I think that's great. And connect with me. I would say follow me and then ask me to follow you. A lot of
yeah.
people ask me to connect with them and they're not already following me, which I think is interesting. So
Huh.
understand how LinkedIn works, and you need to follow me, and then I'll consider following you. If it's as long as you're not pitching me something to buy that I don't need, I'll probably connect with you.
Right.
Also follow Trigonal Gallery, our website, subscribe to the newsletter and I'll say this, so the newsletter is really primarily, we're not pumping you with, buy, buy, buy. What we
Yeah.
are doing is we have connections that we are doing collaborations, exclusive collaborations. And so that's where the newsletter is really interesting for people. If they want to get, we're only producing 50 of this one thing with that company. And if you
Nice.
are into exclusive stuff, you want to get on that newsletter. Then follow us on Instagram, follow us on Twitter. We're, pumping out all of our artwork every single day. So do that. And then what's a great lesson? Belief. I think belief is incredibly important. You have to believe in yourself. You have to believe in your project. You have to believe that you can do your project, and then make sure that other people believe in you and the project.
Oh, I love it, Jonathan. That was awesome. Vision Pros, go get it. We're gonna go get it. We love you guys. Everybody have a great day. Jonathan, thanks so much for joining us on the show, man. This was awesome.
Absolutely, Jackson. Thank you for
Thank
having
you for
me.
being here today. I'm really happy that you tuned in to Vision Pros Live. I'm looking forward to seeing your reactions as these episodes continue to move forward. This is going to get more and more fun. We'll have more and more engagement as well. We'll invite people to participate in the show. And thank you for giving us your time and attention.